Hi, welcome to Manas Shil YouTube channel. Before we start, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. Let's start the video. If you haven't watched the previous video, I'll link it in the description box, or you can click here. Chapter 4, Shattered Ambition. The invasion begins. I received the report from Dino, but the contents were ridiculous. As I expected, Michael had made his move. It was within expectations, so that was good. What surprised me was Bear's actions. To my surprise, she had left Michael's group with her own troops. I was stunned by this. What, are you kidding me? I'm serious. I was also shocked. By the way, this was something Michael didn't know yet, either. I was about to tell him. Hearing that, I was convinced that this guy, Dino, was an asshole. There were too many things going on, and this was not the time to be bothered. No, even before that, I thought he should report to his own boss, before leaking the inside information to me, the enemy. But well, you know. It's because Dino had such a personality that I was saved, right? For a moment, I felt a little sorry for Michael and Feldway. But before I got too excited, I had to ask something important. So, where did they decide to attack? Oh, it's Leon's territory. As I said, Bear left and I'm staying behind, but all the other officers have been mobilized. Pico and Gracio are also being taken by force, so if it comes to a fight, please be merciful to them. What kind of a convenient story is that? Well, I'll keep it in mind. Please do. Oh, and I have one more favor to ask. I'm busy too, so make it quick. I'll listen to what Dino has to say as I prepare to go out. As I thought, I really enjoyed working with Vestas-san and Drammers, and I'm bored here. So, Remure-san, please beat up Michael and free me. I was speechless. Hey, is your head okay? That's not something you say to an enemy, do you understand? Me? So mean. We're friends, aren't we? Don't be so cold. Oh, and by the way, did you apologize properly to Rammers, so that we could make up later? Screw you. I told you to apologize to her yourself. Wah, please wait, Remure-san. Moving on. Yes, moving on. I can't allow myself to be manipulated by someone against my will. Do your best to escape from their control, as soon as possible. If you don't do it soon, you'll lose your title of Demon Lord. Hahaha, I'll do my best. Well, I know you're a dependable guy. There's no one who's as good at leaving things to others as I am, so I'll just use you the best I can. That had to be a joke. However, I also thought that it was very typical of Dino. And one last piece of advice. That bastard Feldway is teaming up with the Insectors. I know. Seems pretty dangerous. It's not just dangerous. I had never seen that King Zalanis until before, but he might even be better than Guy. I can't know for sure until I actually fight him, but I know that I couldn't beat him, even if I really tried. They're staying back this time, but we don't know when they'll make a move, so don't let your guard down. I'd like to say that it was just extra, but it was very valuable information, and also very unpleasant. Just by hearing that he was like Guy or above, my depression level was at its max. And more than that, if such a dangerous guy was waiting with his army, we needed to think of a countermeasure for immediate response. I thought about calling back Geld and the others whom I had left in various countries, but I decided not to do that either. We would be at a disadvantage if they targeted us while we were short-handed. If that was the case, it seemed that we would have no choice but to make do with what we had. Thanks for the advice. I'll pass it on to everyone and be on the lookout. Well then, you're going to have to work really hard. Yeah. Don't die, Remure. No need to tell me that. This was my second life, my slime life, and I intended to enjoy more freedom. The war had been going on for a while now, and I was going to get rid of all the troubles, and then take it easy. And I was going to have good times with my friends, including Dino, of course. You too. I replied to Dino, as if speaking from the heart. As soon as I finished my conversation with Dino, I summoned the remaining executives to the capital city Remure. The location was the control room in the labyrinth. When I looked at Leon's stronghold with the Argus surveillance magic, I saw that it was covered by a blizzard and that nothing else could be seen. El Dorado has a mild climate. A blizzard like this was unnatural, no matter how you look at it. It was obvious to everyone that Velzard was behind it. There was no contact from Leon and the others, and no visual confirmation of the enemy. There must be some kind of communication jamming going on there, and we had no choice but to trust in Dino's words. Since the enemy was coming out with only their main force, we needed to assemble an appropriate force. If we tried to support them inefficiently, the damage would be too great. If we sent out too many, the labyrinth defense would be too thin, and if we sent too few, we would not be able to achieve our goal. It was a difficult decision to make. I see, the enemy is also very powerful. As soon as I explained what Dino had told me, Benimaru turned his attention to me. If he was eager to go, then I was not going to stop him. I was planning to send just me, Ranga and Saoi to support them, but I guess they're more powerful than I thought. We'll be in danger, if only we show up, so Benimaru, you should join us. You don't even have to ask. So, who else are you taking with you? As soon as Benimaru announced that he was going to take me, his face broke into a smile. Is it me? No, it's not. I shut down Valdor's comment immediately. Just think about it. Valdor was a good ally, and a great asset, but we had to remember that he was the enemy's target. You know, you should be aware that you're being targeted. Besides, as long as you or I are safe, we can still be revived, so it's nonsense for the two of us to go out and fight together. Kuahahaha. I was careless. Just leave the protection of the labyrinth to me. Please do. I was in a serious pinch right now, so I was really counting on him. Once the most problematic child was convinced, I turned to Zijin. Zijin and Apido, continue guarding the labyrinth. We can't leave this place empty, because it seems like there is a dangerous enemy waiting for us. Leave it to me. I wish you the best of luck, Rimuru-sama. How very reliable. The Dragon Lords would remain as a force, and we'd be able to analyze their strength. That left Trainee-san, Beretta, and Cherries. Cherries, keep an eye on Valdor to make sure he doesn't go out of control. I don't need to be told, sir. I'll keep a close eye on Valdor-sama, so that Rimuru-sama can go into battle without worry. I'm being monitored. Don't worry about it. No, I'm curious. Read this and calm down. Cherries handed Valdor a comic book to quiet him down, and I found it reassuring in a different sense. Just leave Master to us, we'll take care of him. The labyrinth is well guarded, and we are training, so that we will not be caught unaware this time. I am looking forward to showing you the results. I'd rather not have that chance, but it was reassuring to know we were prepared for anything. I nodded back to Trainee-san, asking for her help. Rimuru-sama has given me strength, and I am stronger than ever. I've been training with Cherries Dono, and I have no intention of losing to Dino-sama next time. Please rest assured. Well, I believe you. Whether they can beat Dino or not, the current Beretta team should be able to keep up with them. That was why. I'm taking Kumara with me. Me, Benimaru, Ranga, Kumara, and Saoi were chosen as the members of this sortie. However, there was still one thing that was bothering me. Sorry, Benimaru. I made the decision without asking your opinion, but if you don't like it, you can turn it down. Did you want to stay and protect your wives? Momiji and Alvis were very pregnant. Apparently, the gestation period of monsters varied widely. Momiji's mother, Keed, had been carrying Momiji in her belly for over 300 years. In the case of beastmen, some had embryos and some had eggs, even though they were the same species. Alvis was said to have an embryo, but she also maintained her transformed state throughout her pregnancy. It may be that the human figure was more overworking, but it seemed that there were also individual differences. Well, it's not like I knew about the whole biology of monsters yet, so there was no point in worrying about it. Let's hope that some ecologists who were interested in the subject would solve it within a reasonable range. I left it at that. What is important now was Benimaru's feelings of leaving his two pregnant wives to go to the battlefield. Benimaru replied, as if laughing at my concern. That is an unnecessary concern. I will do everything in my power to protect the people I love. In the first place, I wanted to have an heir, so that they could take my place in case something happened to me. If you misunderstand that, I'm not doing the right thing. Well, that may be true in theory. But is that really okay with him? But, you know. Strange as it may seem, I was the one who was lost. As if to reassure me, Benimaru smiled. Don't worry. The safest place on Earth is here, and I've asked Hakuru to guard them. If something should happen, he'll take over for me and raise my successor. So, there's nothing to worry about. Besides, I don't think I'm going to lose, and I don't doubt Rimuru-sama's victory. He said it so refreshingly. Saoi nodded his head in agreement, and looking around at the faces of the others, they all seemed to feel the same way. It made me wonder if I was the one who was wrong. Ha ho ho. Rimuru-sama is very kind. It's probably because he was born in a time of peace. But that is not the mainstream way of thinking in a world of war. My daughter Momiji and Alvis Dono are prepared for this. On top of that, I believe in Benimaru-sama. The fact that he didn't call Benimaru young showed how serious he was about his statement. As if agreeing with Hakiru, Momiji, and Elvis had arrived before I knew it. That's right. There is no way that my husband can lose. Yes, I agree with Momiji-san. Benimaru-sama, if you leave us and die, we'll chase you to the ends of the earth. Please be prepared. It seemed that these two were already prepared. If that's the case, there was no time for me to be confused. Okay, I appreciate the sentiment. I'm not saying we'll win, but I promise that we'll all make it back alive. Just leave it to me, Rimuru-sama. All we have to do is win. I forgot to mention that Benimaru was an incredibly confident person. When he and Sae were together, it seemed like they could defeat any opponent. The same was true for Kumara and Ranga. Yes, sir. I will do my best too, and we won't be defeated. My lord, I am with you. No matter who the enemy is, there's no doubt if it's you. There seemed to be some kind of a mistake, but I understood what they were trying to say. You're right. This is no time to feel lost, and there's no use worrying about it before the fight. Although the goal is to defend Leon, let's do our best to crush Michael's ambitions. I declared as such. Speaking calmly with Michael and coming to some beautiful understanding, I wasn't going to pretend that we'd be able to do something like that. He's dangerous. He has no humanity, and he's willing to sacrifice anything to achieve his goal. It was annoying, but in the end, I had no choice but to pick a fight with someone who was outside the line of mutual respect. Let's go. Everyone nodded at my words. Do not worry about anything until after everything is over. I made up my mind to do so, and began to teleport everyone to the battlefield. By the time Rimuru and the others had begun their preparations, the war had already begun. There was no declaration of war, and Vega began going out of control. Damn it, can't he at least try to follow the plan? Kigali nodded in agreement when she heard Feldway complaining. The purpose of this operation was not to destroy El Dorado, but to bring the angelic skill owners before Feldway and add them to their ranks. Kigali was confused when she heard that Michael's control could be handled by Feldway. However, she believed that it was tactically correct to keep the generals out of the battlefield. So, without any doubts, she accepted the current plan. The plan was simple. Everyone here, Feldway, Velzard, Zelario, Pico, Gracia, Kigali, Yuki, Tyr, Footman, Vega, Orlia, Arios, and Maifuruki, 13 in all, would go on a rampage. The idea was to slaughter those who rushed out to intercept them, while searching for the angelic skill users. Although it was a guess, and not a definite one, Kigali was sure that it was Leon. Even if she was wrong, there would be no problem. The mission would be over as soon as the target was taken. If they didn't come out to defend the city, Kigali and her team were going to go in as an assault team. However, as soon as they had arrived at the site through Mai's instantaneous movement, Vega went berserk, ignoring all instructions. He struck at the city's defense barriers and destroyed them. He then charged straight into the place that appeared to be the royal castle. Kigali was dumbfounded. He's even dumber than before now that he's got more power. We can't incorporate him into our operations at this rate. We might as well seriously consider a purge. Violation of orders was strictly forbidden in any organization. Moreover, if it was an executive who did it, it might eventually become a matter of not being able to control the military discipline. To make an example of the subordinates, they might have to think about how to handle Vega. Anyway, the operation had already started. Kigali decided to discuss the plan with Feldway, leaving Vega to be dealt with upon their return. Myself and Velzard would be a perfect diversion, but Zelario, Pico, and Gracia should stay here. I'll put the rest under your command, so you can run wild and find the people you want. Tyr and Footman, not to mention Arios, Orlia, Mai, and the rest of the Undead Elf Resurrection team, were under the influence of Kigali's spell. The orders were not compulsory, but they were connected by telekinesis. Besides, planning strategies was Kigali's forte. Feldway recognized this, and had given her command. Therefore, Kigali gave the order. Vega will be reprimanded for his outburst later, but for now, hit the enemy with all your might. If you can't win, I'll allow you to retreat, so go ahead and go wild. With the exception of Yuki, all of them there had gained a great deal of power. They at least had more self-control than Vega, but were still eager to see how strong they had become. That's why, as soon as Kigali gave the go-ahead, they all started moving at once. And Kigali, alone, followed behind. I have free will, and have been given a certain amount of authority. I might not get any more opportunities in the future. Perhaps she should wait for a better time. Such a thought crossed her mind, but she was terrified that Michael was in control of her will. If she were to be turned into a complete puppet, all hope would be lost. It was not unlikely that this was her last chance. Optimism was a dangerous thing, and Kigali decided to take action. From the very beginning, she had no intention of being loyal to Feldway and the others. Michael and Feldway were crazy. Their insanity was so palpable that Kigali was convinced that a future with them was not bright. I swear I will not betray you. And I will accept your dominion. That's right. Kigali had sworn that she would never betray her friends, even if that meant accepting Michael's control. And she was prepared to repay the favors she had received from Yuki, no matter how dirty her hands would become. Michael's control seems to be absolute within a certain range. However, it might be less effective if the distance is increased. Or, if we isolate ourselves from the same space, we might not be affected at all. They could look for signs of the other skill owner's whereabouts. However, the locations of those 3 skills were still unknown. In other words, there was a high possibility that it was a safe zone. Ramrus's labyrinth. If they could escape there, then there was a chance that Kigali and the others could be saved. Fortunately, they were allied with Demon Lord Rimuru. No, that's doubtful right now, but there was still a good chance that the good-natured Lord Rimuru would hide Kigali and the others. So, the best course of action for Kigali and the others was to create a big mess here and find an opening to escape. For that reason. Can you hear me, Laplace? Chairman, you're all right. I'm fine, but I'm in a tricky situation. That's why. Please order me to do anything you need. So, where should I go? It's El Dorado. Kigali called upon her most reliable trump card. And so, Laplace had joined the fight. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy it.